Hello again, my dear viewers. Welcome to another Tokyo update. I have several things to tell you about. It'll be a bit rambling like the last one, but I hope you find it interesting. I will have this video, which I recorded, was it yesterday? I believe it was yesterday. Running in the background. I'll probably show it again sometime with commentary and so on. It's one of many like it that I've recorded. But first, I'd like to talk a bit, before I get back to talking about Tokyo and the videos and such, I'd like to talk a bit about programming and my game, just an update on how that is going. So don't worry that you're missing anything in this video. It's not that interesting, especially not in the beginning, but I will show it again, for sure. Don't worry, if you're really curious. Anyway, this picture there is a screenshot from, well, it's technically from the game I'm making, although this is actually more of a programming experiment regarding a thing called pathfinding. Quite literally, the task I set myself was to program a way for the program to find its way from the one yellow field to the other yellow field. And you can see that this is one of the pictures I took from after I succeeded. You can see little black black rimmed yellow dots showing the course that my program chose. But that, as I said, was more of an experiment. It doesn't really have that much to do with the game. I don't really plan to include it. I could. There is at least one part of the game where I could use it, but I'm not sure I want to, and that's what I want to talk about. I have decided not to expand the game anymore, for a few reasons. I am going to polish what I have, which I call the alpha release. It's done, to the extent that I wanted it to be. I'm going to polish it a bit more, so that it can be considered a finished program, a finished app to some extent. But I'm not going to expand it for a few reasons. The major one is that I want to go on to new challenges when it comes to programming and learn more. And I'm not really learning much more with this program. I'm sure I could, but it would be. It's such a relatively big program. It's the biggest I've written ever. So it's more interesting for me to take on a new project. More it would. I feel more enthusiastic about taking on new, smaller projects. I'm going to keep my project smaller for some time, so as to keep myself learning more quickly, more efficiently. It's still largely going to be about games and art on the computer. So that's one reason. And the reason why I don't want to add more to it is because even though I could add more to it, it's decently for my level of proficiency in coding, it is decently well structured, but nonetheless it takes a lot of time to add any new aspect to it, which I realized when I wrote the Wild Beast event. It took me weeks, as far as I remember, and everything I planned for it is more complex than that. and unfortunately I didn't write what we call a game engine, or basically better tools for creating content for the game. So writing new stuff is cumbersome. If it were a good enough program that I thought I could sell it, and there was a have some sort of income from it, or spread the word of my growing game production, then I would probably work more on it. But I don't think it is good enough. It was always supposed to be a practice project, a training project, learning project is the phrase I'm looking for. And so I never aspired to it, for it to be. I never aspired to make it on professional level code, and hence it's not of a particularly high quality, sadly. So I don't want to even try to sell it. So that motivation isn't there. And then I think that there are so very few people who are going to enjoy it to any great extent that I don't think it's worth adding more. I am going to make it, as I said, I'm going to polish it so that it's a working game that is playable by someone who isn't intimately familiar with the source code as I am. And if possible, if at all possible, I'm going to make it available for download. I don't see why it wouldn't be possible. It would, to me, it seems quite straightforward. I'll offer the files for download on my webpage and provide instructions on where to put them on your computer so that they will work. I can remove this picture now, I think, so you can see the video. Was there anything else? Yes. Now, the game idea is, I think, very solid, and I might very well return to it or make something very similar, again, just with updated programming skills, which will probably show in everything from user interface, graphics, etc. But it'll be a while, because it grew into quite a big project. It wasn't meant to be from the start. Then I was very enthusiastic about it, and it was a lot of fun to make it larger. But recently, actually since I got to Japan, basically, or just before leaving, I realized that it's going to take too long to finish for me to keep the enthusiasm up. I'm already starting to lose enthusiasm. Because I suddenly felt that it was more of a chore to add new things to it than interesting. And that, the picture I showed with the pathfinding bit, that was something I'd wanted to do for a long time. It wasn't really important for the game, but I wanted to try my hand at it. My next project actually has to do with 3D graphics, which is something I really want to get into and understand. I'm going to start working on it quite soon. I mean, tomorrow, possibly, no, not today. I had thought of doing it today, but the cafe I was sitting in studying before, where I planned to do a little bit of work on it, closed much earlier than I thought it would, like 4 hours earlier than I thought they would. But which made it possible for me to get home, start some laundry down in the laundry room, and or laundromat actually, but it's situated in the bottom of the neighbor building, so it's very convenient. I think that's all about the game. I hope that you can feel as enthusiastic about me as enthusiastic as I do about my upcoming projects, which will all have to do with making graphics, creating a new iteration of my art program, which probably will include 3D graphics, although it'll take some time before I make a new useful app like that. I'll be making small games and I'm thinking of making a simple version of my board game, which I've made many iterations of, during the last 15 years or so, to play on stream. Either some of you again, one of you against me, all of you against me, or one of you against another one of you. I'll try to keep it super simple. I think I'll still play the game I made. It's called Untrodden Lands. The name of my game is Untrodden Lands. I just don't know how many of you are familiar with the fact, who have taken notice of that. So that's why I refer to it as the game. I'll play that on stream, and I hope some of you will still want to try. But it has gotten quite complex, right? So it takes a long time to play, especially through stream. It doesn't take long to play on your own. If you want to try it, you can play like as I plan it, the game will have somewhere between 5 and 10 levels, and I think you can probably finish it in half an hour to an hour at most. I mean, once you get proficient, because I discovered that I can play quite fast when I've been playtesting. So that's that for now. I think I'll make a separate video talking about game plans and programming and such. And regarding these videos and walking and streaming and such, and just my Tokyo stay in general, I basically given up on streaming because it was so inconvenient the last time. I haven't tried again. I really haven't woken up early enough to bother trying at all. And I've been really busy. not in a bad way, just enjoying myself doing things. And what I do is I exercise a lot. Exercise, walk. Walk might be considered exercise. I don't always consider it that, but sometimes I do. We might call part of it training, which is like running and what's the word? What's the word? I've forgotten the one word. Body weight exercises. It's not reappearing. It'll probably come to me as soon as I finish the video. And then so training, running, bodyweight exercises, lots of walking, and then hanging around usually in cafes. Lately, of course, I've been coding a lot. Otherwise, studying Japanese. When I say lately, that was the last 2 days. Today I was back to studying Japanese. I had thought of doing, as I said, a bit of maths actually, but I never got there. I didn't even finish the little amount of study that I wanted to. But I thoroughly enjoy myself. I try to make sure to see bits of Tokyo I haven't seen before, although I have my favorite parts that I often go to. This is one. This video is taken in a place that I, for the most part, hadn't visited before. Tokyo is so vast. I've walked all over it, as you probably know. As I sometimes have said, over 4,000 kilometers. And that's a quite conservative estimate. But it's not much more than 4,000, but that's quite a lot still. It's quite like more than twice the length of my own country, Sweden, which is quite a long country. You could walk around Sweden like one lap, and still have some to go. Never mind. That means I've seen a lot of Tokyo, but as I walk around, I still, on an almost daily basis, find new things, which is one of the reasons I love this place. I have filmed a lot. That's one thing when I walk. and which I'm taking extra pains to do. I never filmed much in Tokyo before. I've taken thousands of photographs, and I still take a lot of photographs, but I try to make sure to film much more. And I think you can see here that the quality of this video is really rather good with regards to shaking. It's much less shaky than I thought it would be, despite me walking, and sometimes walking at decent speed. And also, it's not too bad, but I try to avoid keeping the camera on any one person for any considerable amount of time. I don't want to make people feel exposed, and I don't want to expose feature people or specific people in my video. This guy running past here, he's a runner, but if I were to dwell on him, that wouldn't be fair in my mind. Not fair play. So sometimes the camera work is a bit exotic as I think of it, or just weird. But it seems to me to be. I'm surprised at how good this looks, and how, for want of a better word, pleasant it is to watch. For want of a better word in my mind right now, relaxing even. So as I've noticed that, I've gotten even more enthusiastic about it, and I've been filming quite a lot while walking. Now I had several hours, I think somewhere between 2 and 3 hours, maybe even more than 3 hours worth of footage now. Now, yes, it might even be as much as 3.5, 4. I'm adding to it almost daily. Did I film today? Did I film anything today? No, I didn't. Although I got a really good idea for a long video. Some of them. So when I film, some of the videos are like only a few minutes, a couple of minutes. I think the shortest one is, and the longest is just over an hour. Walking videos. Some of them are places I have been before. Some others are places I've never been, like this. And when I say never been, I cross a couple of places. I think towards the end I reach a place I know that I've been, and I very likely walked past here before sometime, but I mean crossed under this, which it's a highway, by the way. Though I'm walking under a highway. That's what that thing above me is. So I've likely crossed it several times before, but crossed, not followed like this, not explored this area underneath. And it's quite common that they place parks and playgrounds and exercise equipment and small football fields or basketball fields and that sort of thing. It's even a tiny golf course here, mostly I guess it's mostly a putting course. It's not mini golf. It's it looks like artificial greens. Have we passed it yet, or are we going to? Don't know, but you will. That's one of the things you'll see, I promise. And there's every chance that I will, since I'm so enthusiastic about it, I will. I try to find more and more places, and it's not difficult. I always come across, every day I come across places that I think, ooh, I should film here, or if like today, I thought, no, I should try to focus on studying today, but I'll come back and I'll film this, and I have done. So I think I'll have 5 to 10 hours worth of film to show when I get back. That's why I don't care about if I show all of this already, because this is just one of many walks that I've recorded. Really look forward to showing you the many interesting things. And there's parks. There are parks. There are new and shiny neighborhoods, rather older and more battered ones like this, even more old and battered ones. Some in the fringes is hard to say. Tokyo is immense. I'm nowhere near the edge of Tokyo here, but not so central parts. What is it? Parks, temples, shrines. They have shrines everywhere. I found some really interesting ones. I try to capture them whenever I think of it. They still manage to surprise me where they manage to, how they manage to cram in a shrine here and there. But there's not really, like, there's not even room for a bicycle. Well, there would be if they didn't put a shrine there, but still. And that's what I'll be doing the next 3 weeks. I have about 3 weeks left, just over. It's Sunday evening today. I'll be leaving on Monday morning in 3 weeks. So, 3 weeks and a few hours. That's basically half of my stay left. I'll be making more of these update videos too. Since I've given up on streaming, I'll be making more of these update videos. Since I'll have the footage to use, what I could call throwaway footage. This was more of an experiment. Walking there, I especially like walking in places where I have never been. Sort of discovering it together with you. You follow me on my explore. I love that that aspect of it. I have a really good one where I walked through a park. I thought that's nice. That's a bit peculiar, or at least it's very typical of Tokyo, and I'll show that. It's nice. So I had walked through it and I walked back. It was like, and that was only the second time, of course, walking through that quite small park. But as I was filming, I saw, well, ooh, the park continues over there. I can walk over. There's a footbridge, and I found what I found there was so much more amazing than really interesting and amazing stuff. So what I thought would be a 5 to 10 minute short walk, just showing, oh, this is quite typical Tokyo. It's unusual in Europe. Turned into a wow, oh wow, what's around this corner? Oh, this is even more interesting experience. Am I giving it away now? No, I don't think so. You'd have no idea what I'm talking about. So, well, visually speaking, and I hope I'll make more such discoveries. So we talked about programming and walking and my itinerary, my schedule. I'm also meeting with friends. I'm going to Tokyo. Ooh, was that the end of the video? Well, let's start it over again. I talk that much. Going to Tokyo Disney Sea and Tokyo Disneyland. I've been to Disneyland here before with a very good friend. I'm going with her again. It was much better than I thought it would be. 2 years ago, I went there for the first time. And I expected it to be mildly interesting. I was amazed at the quality of the experience. I can wholeheartedly recommend it. And this year we're going to sea and land. They have both there, Tokyo Disney Sea, Tokyo Disneyland. They're wall to wall out in the harbor area, surrounded mostly by industrial or commercial harbor. I'll likely show it to some extent. I can't film and show inside the amusement park, but you can see it from afar, and it looks really interesting even just going past. Maybe you can see parts of it from the train. The train goes past on a raced train. Ooh, how high does it go? I don't recall. Maybe. Plan to do that. And just hang out with friends on different occasions. This week will be quite intense with regards to that. What else? Oh, right. I have, and I still plan to make, I have made more of that kind of train video that I had in my last update. And I plan to make more. I have made more of those, and I plan to make even more. There are several lines that that go well elevated like that for long stretches. The one that I showed last time, that was less than half, and the least interesting half of a line that goes elevated the entire way. It's just that it's also very popular with tourists, and sitting in the front seat and filming like I did, it's you have to sort of be there and wait at the station, at the one of the two end stations. It's not a particularly long line, but it's great. It's popular because of the way it travels, and also because to the things it leads to several things that are common tourist attractions. Sadly, because that means it's all often crowded. But I'll get that footage, I promise. Maybe as early as tomorrow. And then there's another line, one of the most famous, called the Yamanote Mountain Hand. Mountain Hand line, which goes in it's sort of a circular route. It goes around inside Tokyo, through all the major areas of the city, and it's also elevated and above ground all the way, because many lines go partially underground or completely underground, obviously, but they have a surprising amount that goes above, and usually elevated so as not to disturb other traffic, much like the highway here. They have many elevated highways too. This video is probably immensely long by now. And I'm just rambling. I'm just trying to tell you what's coming, and I feel I haven't been very informative lately, so here's a lot. An info dump, as they say. Yep, please look forward to more of this kind of video. Shall I aim to make at least one a week? So 3 more? I think I could. What about 1.5? Even 2 per week? 2 per week seems. I'll try for 2 per week, and we'll see how many I manage. Right? I'll try to be more forthcoming. Special message to Sonny. I promised to criticize your or criticize, to analyze rather your drawing, and I haven't forgotten that. Either I'll make a special video concerning that, or I will do it as soon as I get back home. If you're still interested, that is. Just so you know, I haven't forgotten about that. That's it. I should stop now before this video. My laundry is probably done. I think this video I've been showing was about half an hour, and we've started over again, so it's probably 40 minutes long so far. 40, 45. How long will it take to upload? Happily, I can do it during the night, so it should be done in the morning. Yes, with that, I wish you all good day, evening, midday, night, dawn, whatever it is. And just a generally good time until I see you again. Good. Goodbye.